Here on my YouTube channel, I'm giving away free consultation calls to anyone who's trying to figure out how to make money from home or build their dream business online. So if you want that, or if you know someone that wants that, feel free to share my phone number. It's 310-807-1998. And just have that person text me. Say, hey Nate, I heard about your thing on YouTube. And I would love to give free advice, free consultations, free brainstorming sessions to figure out what it is that you want to do in these crazy times. So again, if you know someone that maybe just lost their job or is trying to figure out this online thing, I would love to help any way that I possibly can. Not going to charge anything, not going to sell anything at the end. It's 100% free. As long as they're cool with me posting it on YouTube, I would love to help. So right now what we're going to do is jump into a consultation call that I had with a friend of mine about the exact same thing. So feel free to check this out. Listen while you're working out, exercising, while you're relaxing, before you go to sleep. And I hope it adds a tremendous amount of value to your life. Enjoy the consultation. Thanks so much.
So you said that you'll get excited and think, oh, I can do all that.
Yeah.
In a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
Well, I mean, naturally I got burned out because everything that you've come to understand about your business has been an accumulation of experiences and all of the downs and all of the lessons you have to internalize to go, oh, like I can't just do this way because so-and-so did it this way. I have a particular set of circumstances that create maybe some kind of a limitation on trying to do it the way that Gary would do it. Like, for example, today, before we talked, I basically was like on the verge of throwing up because I lost a bunch of footage. And it's just a matter of I was in the middle of what I thought was a very typical move my library from one hard drive to another. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, I've got to dig it up. Maybe the files are still there, maybe they're not, I don't know. But I definitely just have to rebuild whatever I had already created over the last 2 days. And like those things come up, and those are the things that keep you from really attacking, from really going and saying, oh, I can rebuild Gary's entire empire in a matter of 12 hours because I'm just motivated. And if you feel free to take that and use it for like a topic of conversation if that ever comes up with other people, because I feel like that's a fairly common thing for people to get excited and to think that you can just do it all in like one day or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like in my life I've done a lot of creating very large goals that take a very long period of time to accomplish, such as becoming the top urban music producer by this certain time, or getting a placement with a Grammy award-winning artist. It's like there are no pegs between here and the ceiling. It's just I'm going to get to the ceiling, and I'm not going to take a single step on the wall between here and the ceiling.
Yeah.
That's not the way to do it. There's got to be more pegs and assistance. It's like, how can I get to the ceiling? How about I have 20 pegs in the wall, and I also have a person who is a really good peg climber who is helping me, or a person who's not necessarily a really good peg climber, but someone who is just driven as shit to get me to the top. And also, why don't I get a harness in case I fall? And the harness might be, being a part of the 3-day week club, or getting funding, or having savings in a bank account, or whatever that looks like. And the person is either a business partner, which I don't do, but other people do really well, or an assistant or an intern. And just how can I weaponize myself so that I have every single thing that I could possibly need in order to succeed, as opposed to doing what I did in my 20s, which was I had, my cuppeth runneth over with motivation and with drive. And then I'm spending, I'm pretty much working from age 16 to age, 28, 27. I'm working anywhere from, 10 to 12-hour days.
Yeah.
6 to 7 days a week, grinding and not having any help whatsoever. It's like, so right now it's like, okay, step one, get footing. Cool. Got footing. Join the 3-day-a-week club, work for one of the biggest influencers producing a #1 podcast. Now I get paid to learn. Got the finances taken care of. Step two, now that I got that, get my funding, get my grant so that I don't cut corners on buying all the shit that I need and hiring all the people I need. So I did that. For me, this isn't like necessarily what I'm teaching. And then step three is like, okay, cool. Now I got money for my project and I got money for myself. Now it's time to start getting all those tools in place to weaponize me to really be able to make it happen. And from here, it's like, okay, systems, team, and passion, vehicle, right? Or in my case, vehicles, which I'm, Shelly. So I take
now as you're working to make it more efficient and sustainable is what you're saying.
Yeah. Efficient, sustainable, scalable.
Yeah.
Sustainable, scalable, pretty much the same thing, I guess, but scalable in the sense that it can grow without me, or it can grow without me doing anything other than creating content. And so I've seen my job as I hired a video editor last year and a virtual assistant a few weeks ago. I've seen my job go from, as I say, like less doing, more reviewing, where I'm not actually doing the work, I'm just reviewing the work.
Yeah.
It's like the less doing, more reviewing is what was happening for a while. But now what I'm realizing is things are getting so automated by me having systems, i.e. fan generating systems, as I call them, which are YouTube ads, Instagram ads, Facebook ads, and soon LinkedIn ads, and team, virtual assistant and video editor. And I really want to get a videographer, which my dream is to have that be you. It's going a little bit out of just less doing, more reviewing, but noticing that I owe people work every week now. Like I hired a VA, and that VA relies on me to produce lots of video content for him to distribute throughout the platforms. And same with the video editor, but the video editor has so much to work with because we have this whole film series ahead. But as soon as we catch up on that film series, I'm gonna have to be like, yo, Mark, let's do this. Fly back out here, let's make it happen, because or else he's gonna be out of work. But the VA is such a dog at, like, I mean that in a good way. He's like, he just fucking gets it. Like he goes so hard that he'll be like, hey man, you gave me 7 things to do this week. It's Tuesday. I'm done with all of them. Give me more work. And I'm like, dang, thank you. I love that. And so I find myself, I'm waking up at 4 o'clock because he's in a different time zone, and I'm just having to wake up at 4 o'clock and just grind in the morning because I work for him. He doesn't work for me. I work for him. I pay him, but he's the one hitting me up. He asks me what to do. I give him the weekly objectives, the weekly priorities. I make the request to him of what I need, but he is constantly saying, hey, I need this. Hey, I need that. You want me to do this? I'm going to need these things. And so I'm in a position where I am like, fuck, I got to get up early and I got to shoot these videos and I got to deliver this to him or else he ain't got shit to do.
That's good.
That's bad. Yeah, it looks bad on me if I don't do that, but yeah, it's definitely good. So it's exciting, dude. And I want to pave the path for other people. Like, it's funny how this like coronavirus thing has shifted some people's perspective. And I feel like I've always really been centered in my heart when it comes to my entrepreneurship, meaning that like theoretically, my heart has always been like in the best interest for people. But the truth is my actions weren't aligned with that until the coronavirus thing started happening. You know, because before my shit was like, would you like to build your dream business? If so, check this out. Here are the five reasons why blah, 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 blah. If you're interested, click this link and sign up right now for free training. And then they get on the free training, and I'm hitting them with all these like marketing strategies to get them to psychologically decide to purchase. But what I'm doing now is I'm realizing, oh yeah, like I don't need, and that's the beauty of this path that I'm trying to pave for people, is like I don't need to rely on this thing to make money. And because I don't need to rely on it for money, I have the breathing room to make a smaller amount of money to break even and really build trust with people. But what I'm realizing now is like, okay, cool. So because of this thing, I can just say, hey, everybody, I'm just going to give you free consultations. I'm not going to sell you on anything. I will just do a simple reminder that I have an online course if you want to dive deeper. But I'm not going to like try to upsell you for a coaching client or anything like that. It's just 100% free. And the ultimate goal is like, how can I pave a path for people so that when people come out of high school, come out of college, people who are changing careers, people who got out of college and realize that they don't want to do what they studied, people who are struggling, people who are, whatever it is, people who are super successful but decided that, that they're not happy doing what they do. How can they be like, all right, drop my Plinko tab, down Nate's, path of like figuring out the career shit. And I feel like it's super robust, man. I feel like it's not easy, but it's a path. It's like, if you ain't got no money, get a part-time job that pays your bills. And then from there, if you don't get one that's super dope, where you're getting paid to learn, then level up to one where you're getting paid to learn. Then from, during that whole process, you're focusing on your big passion project thing, either figuring out what it is by, as Gary says, tasting, continuously asking and trying to trying different things and figuring things out, and it's like speed rounds of things that you're passionate about. And if you do know and find out what you want to do, or if you do know what you want to do, and then from there, just having that freedom and that space to say, cool, I'm going to some people just want to act immediately, which is dope. And I like that, but also at the same time, be building that plan and presentation to get funding, and then get funding. And then from there, just go through the whole path that I'm doing, hiring people, buying the equipment, and starting to scale. And it's not, what I have to remember is that not everybody is built like that. Only some people are built like that. Like you're built like that. You're like, I'm in it I can't possibly breathe and not hustle. Like that's just who you and I are. Like I don't use the word hustle for myself, but it's like I just feel like I'm wired that way, where I can't. Like I was asked recently, like if you had your choice of how often you would work and what that would look like, what would it look like? And my answer was, well, currently I can't imagine not working, I don't know, anywhere from at the very least 8 hours a day up to 12 hours a day. But during that, if there's more than 45 minutes in a row, at a time in a day where I'm not working, I would have to know that multiple people are doing stuff for me. And I know you're kind of like that too, where it's just go, go, go. But I have to remember that some people don't want that, and figure out a solution for them too, because this is such a multi-step process. It's like people will start a business, but they won't realize what they're getting themselves into. And I think that that's like ignorance is bliss, because most people, including myself, when I started, they wouldn't start that business if they knew how many years it was going to take, and if they knew how many years they were going to have to not be, successful. It's like I started my first online business in 2009. Yeah. 11 years later, and I'm just figuring it out.
That is just, you get an initial impression that whatever it is that you decide to do should be the most enjoyable experience of your life, and you kind of ignore the fact that any challenges that come up are gonna like this afternoon, potentially put you in a place where you want to throw up. And I can't say that I've ever felt, I felt nervous around poorly executed tasks at a job, but I can't say I've ever been in a place where I was so invested in something that, like, though one of the projects that I'm going to have to go back and tell the guy I'm working with that, hey, we're going to have to reshoot these shots, it's unpaid. The thing is, like, I'm doing this because I'm trying to align myself more with what I want to do. And if this was genuinely my job on a day-to-day, I would feel wrecked if I truly screwed up something for a client. But people don't see that when they first get into it, and they feel that first surge of like, oh wow, I'm gonna break out as an entrepreneur, and I'm just gonna take on all this positivity because I follow Brendan and I watch Marie, and they always talk about positivity. And a lot of people kind of miss out on the fact that there are going to be challenges, and those challenges are what take that climb from the floor to the ceiling a lot longer than just a quick jump.
Well, there's a really great podcast episode by Jenna Kutcher, Goal Digger podcast, about when she was a wedding photographer and she lost the whole, a good chunk, the majority of the photos from a wedding.
Yeah.
You can't reshoot that.
No.
It's once. And it might be worth a listen if you need a little pep talk. But
I can relate, and that's honestly one of the reasons why I avoided weddings. Is there's so much on the line that I don't know what I could have done, but I've since changed that tune. And I do work every now and then with someone who does weddings.
Yeah. Well, dude, I think that you're doing an amazing thing by having your job but still pushing to find work, or even doing free or energy exchange work with people, because that's what the goal was. Like, you wouldn't have been able to do that before you had the nursing job, because you would have had 100% of your time focused on trying to find money. And I think that one of the biggest problems in the way that our, financial system is constructed is people make decisions solely based on money, solely based on survival. And that's when people make bad decisions. It's like, if you come across a really great opportunity that won't make you money in the short term, but that could make you money in the long term, and you can't afford to do that because you need the money, then you're going to miss out.
Yeah.
And like when I, started working, doing my 3-day-a-week club, it's like, whoa, I met a huge influencer. He wants me to work for him, but there's this long period of time that he wants me to just do a test without getting paid. Yeah. I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't have my job with Uber and Lyft. Yeah. If I didn't have my Uber and Lyft thing, I was like, I left the music industry. I had no money. Because that was such a big opportunity, I probably would have hit somebody up to borrow some money or something like that. But we wouldn't even met if I didn't do the Uber and Lyft thing. So it's like, it just wouldn't even have happened.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, I'm doing these things because I realized recently, it's like, I just came to embrace that this is what I want to do. And regardless of whether or not, I want to be smart, and I want to value my time, and I don't just want to book myself with a lot of free stuff. But if there's two things I came to realize. One, I only want to work with people and on projects that get me excited. And that's huge. I think that's huge for me, because normally I'm the kind of person that would be like, oh, I just need to do the work because I have to do the work. Even if I hate it, I'm going to do it. But I just find that my output on that isn't as great. So I'm paying attention more to what I actually enjoy. And the other part of it is also realizing I have kept doing this video thing, this filmmaker thing, for a long ass time, and I'm not putting it down. I think it's high time I just accept that it's not ever going to leave my life, and I should really take it seriously.
Yes. Dude, that is a huge thing that I've realized recently that people can ask themselves in order to figure out what they want to do, right? Because I think a big mistake that people make, since I've been communicating, collaborating with people about the course curriculum for Dream University, is people think that when I say figure out what you want to do with your life, that means choose a profession. that already exist.
Yeah.
And that might be the case, but often it's not. It's like choose a profession and do it your way, or just figure out something that's super random and off the wall that you enjoy doing, and take 4 or 5 different things that you absolutely love and find a way to mesh them together into one thing that you love doing. And so one of those things that has helped me a lot in like helping talking to other people is what will never leave. What can you not shake no matter how hard you try? Like for me, that's music, right? Music industry since 16, left the music industry, yet here I am still doing my own music, even if it's just on the side. It's like that never left. And if film is that for you, then it's like, cool. But it doesn't have to be like, okay, cool. Well, then I must have to try to get video clients. Like, I think it's super dope that you want to like be like a video person for a big influencer. And that's definitely a goal that you can have. But like, just generally speaking, it could also be anything else that just so happens to include a video camera.
Yeah. That's exactly why I chose to, the set of videos I'm referring to is from the jiu-jitsu school that I just started going to. And it's been such an amazing experience for me to be even being there. The fact that all of jiu-jitsu schools had to shut down, being involved in a project where they're creating content so that their students can continue to learn is very much in alignment with what I want to do. And it's like, it's not just a matter of me making this content for the sake of I get to make this content, but it's because selfishly I can get to use the same bit of content so that I can continue to keep training as well. So, I mean, and that's why, like, if I were to, like, working with you, the mutual benefit of it is, like, I get to experience or, like, as you say, like, learn on the job what it is to be in the midst of someone who's doing it. I mean, living this, like, ideal entrepreneurial life on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and essentially you're getting paid to learn from someone who isn't necessarily doing, you know, like having a video business, but who has a jiu-jitsu school. You can learn a lot discipline related from martial arts, even though you have a lot of that already, and business, and just have someone that you can kind of be under their wing if it's the type of person that you can look up to and learn from. And there could be a mutually beneficial relationship there. That I despise in most cases transactional business relationships. I tell every person that I interview for a job, I tell them that no matter what, I always say that. It's like, I do not want to pay you money so that you do something for me. I want to build a long-term business relationship where, you know, a year from now, you say, if I didn't get paid $1 for this, it would have been worth every penny, because in fact, I would pay money for this. And I want to say, if I had to pay, if this person came to me and said, you know, I got a job offer for 3X, then, you know, I would be very sad, because I would want to keep that person and would do everything in my power to be able to do that, even if it wasn't in my budget. You know, it's like, or maybe that's a bad example. Maybe a better example on my half would be, oh my God, I can't believe that all I had to do is pay this person some money, and I built this amazing friendship with this person, and they're doing amazing work for me. And I know that I have the security of a person that will be with me on the team forever and will always be, you know, you get the idea.
Yeah. I hadn't even really thought about it that way. I know that was something that we've discussed before, but I didn't realize that that's what I was doing and deciding that I'm only going to do work with. I mean, that's why, like, I'm just going to do work with people on things that I really enjoy. That's why this project with Michael's really cool, because I mean, I get to drive around in Ferraris. And then,
you know, you could tell him, you could say, hey man, I know you said you're going to compensate me for this, and right now money's not great, and I could take that from you. But what I want to ask you is, what if I do this for you, and I do it for you for free, and then you tell me what I would have to do to you to make this much money from you? And that could be a goal. You know, I'm not selling you. I'm not trying to make an offer right now. I'm just saying, when would that have to happen? One of my close friends that works for another big influencer said to me, one of the best closes that she's heard on CEO coaching was, what dollar amount would you have to pay me to feel accountable to these calls?
Huh.
And, you know, if you ask that to anyone, you're probably going to get an answer that doesn't feel good. But if you ask a CEO that, who can afford it, then you're probably going to get a number that's pretty good. And in that case, it was an acquaintance of hers. It was much, much higher than he was expecting to pitch for the price. So it could either be, here's my number, I have a goal of getting there, let me know if you think there's any potential for us to get there somehow. Or it could be the opposite, flip it around, and you could say, how much money would you have to pay me after this free project to have every single one of your video needs met?
Yeah.
For, you know, on retainer. Which one feels better to you?
At this point, I would actually be more interested in having my minimum monthly expenses met so that I can focus solely, well, largely on that project.
If he said, hey, man, how much are you making right now? And you told him, he said, quit that job, I'll hire you for that much. How would you feel about your job security? Would you be like, don't know if I can do that because, you know,
I would do
quit that.
I would do it in a
heartbeat. Okay. And could you go back to nursing if worst case scenario if something fell through?
Yeah.
Perfect. Cool. So you don't have to tell me your minimum, but think of your minimum. And then if it's not a lot, which is probably not too much, I know you got a kid and all that stuff, but maybe just do what my mom told me to do when I got the offer for the last record label I worked for before I left music. And she was like, no, add 1,000 to that. I was like, what? I was like, no, I'm hoping that they say yes to this. She's like, Nate, add 1,000 to that. It's not a lot. I was like, okay. And so I added 1,000 to it, and they said yes with no hesitation. And I was like, fuck, I could have probably added $2,000 to that, and they would have said yes. Yeah. But so you know, just say, here's my minimum, and that I need in order to survive. Like your definition, like you're on some like Navy SEAL like type shit or some whatever. You know, I know you said someone's better than Navy SEALs, right? Was that you?
Maybe, I don't remember.
Someone told me, it was like, Navy SEALs actually don't work as hard as the so-and-so. Anyway, you're on that type of shit where when someone asks you, what is your bare minimum required, you're like, okay, 3 squares a day, rent, lights on, what my kid needs. You know, it might have been different now that you have a daughter, but before I know it was like literally put me in a box that's big enough for me to sleep in and cook a shit ton of meat in and I'm good. So, you know, like a normal person's minimum would be maybe $1,000 more than that. And, you know, you don't want to be in a position where you tell him how much you need and then you get that much and then you can't even fucking afford, you know, transportation to get to where you got to go to do your job right or whatever it is. So just, you know, add a little bit to that and let him know. He's like, yo, I want to do this for you for free, but I want to be super transparent with you. If this is all we do together, great, but I want to learn from you. My goal is to get paid to learn, and you have a lot of things that I look up to that I want to be as an entrepreneur, and I would love to learn from you. So after this project, I will not take any money for this project from you, but after this project, what would I have to do? What projects will we have to do? What you need in order to make that possible, that dollar amount? Is that a feasible thing? And what would that look like? And then you guys have that conversation. Just remember that your hard line is no more than 3 days a week. And if you got to work 12-hour days 3 days a week, then so be it. But you need that other 4 days for your project and for your life and your family.
Can you write that down? Is that written down somewhere?
Right.
It's a lot, and like it's somewhat in line but different from what I thought, and I'm keeping faith in that it's based on what you've already seen. So I'm quieting my mind to keep from having its assumptions of how it should be said take over, and listen to someone who's, like you said, already climbed the pegs.
But yes, but there's kind of two sides to it, right? Like, what do you know better than anything?
Myself.
Yourself. Okay. What do you know better than anything that you could teach someone else?
Other than video and internet stuff.
It can be one of those.
Yeah.
It can be one of those. Let's take fitness. Okay. So videos and fitness. So fitness. If you were to teach someone who was brand spanking new and was struggling, like maybe super overweight, bad knee joints, you're going to tell, you climb the pegs, and you're going to tell that person all that you know, and you're going to give them strategies. But when they're doing those squats, they're going to want to remember all the things that you taught them, but in a way, you tell them to just forget everything also, right? And like listen to their body and listen to their intuition. And so it's like, you have to remember that also this is the thing that I keep having to like slam into my brain over and over again. It's like, people will take what you say. I'm talking to myself. People will take what you say at face value and will go and do it, even though I don't know their life, and I know your life, but I don't know this dude. So I could be completely wrong. It might be way off base. His business might be struggling so bad that he can't afford anything. Or maybe, you don't really look up to him that much. Or maybe you guys don't have that relationship. Or maybe there's a million variables that I have no clue about. But, like, these are just kind of ideas. And I think that, you've climbed the pegs too, man. Like, you're just forgetting a little bit because you're down right now,
Yeah.
It's like, don't see me as like, I'm your boy, it's like, don't see me as like, oh, well, I'm just going to quiet my mind and like not listen to my intuition and just do exactly what Nate says. It's more like, let me take what Nate says, take it with a grain of salt. He doesn't know the exact situation, right. And like quiet my mind and listen to my intuition and then make my own decision.
Well, you make a fair point. And I think part of that, if you want to call it fear or hesitation, is I've over the past few months, I've pretty much had a couple of situations where I said, hey, I have this thing and it might turn into this whole project and I might get paid this much. And it seemed like every instance of it fell through. And that gives me the reluctance. But at the same time, like going by the number in my heart and in my mind and having asked that of someone who was in a place who could provide that when I was working that broker job back in LA, I actually came across someone who met that and actually furnished that lifestyle. I guess I'm saying is I don't quite have the instinct to know with 100% certainty, which is non-existent, that my conversation with Michael is going to pan out to be more in favor of the outcome I want, or just another like dud, like every other conversation I've had in the past. But it's not to say that I shouldn't have the conversation.
Right. And, I even hesitate on saying there's two things that I think about. One is opportunities versus working on your own project. And the other one is the whole not getting paid thing, right? It's like, that's only, you saying I'm not going to take any money for this is only if you feel really certain that this could be something and you are taking a risk. So you might not even say that. You might be like, yeah, I do. Sometimes standing up for yourself and asking for the money is the right thing to do, because then people have more respect for you and then they want to hire you anyway.
Yeah.
And that's, and you avoid people that want to take advantage of you. Like there's no way we'd be having the same conversation if you were still in LA, because everybody, talks a big game and doesn't follow through. And people are always looking to take advantage of someone. You know that.
Yeah.
But then the other thing, dude, is dude, I'm so glad we're having this conversation. One of the things that I used to preach in music that I haven't really thought of too much anymore is not focusing on opportunities. And I feel like people who need something the most focus on opportunities. And there's nothing wrong with focusing on opportunities, because something might happen. But what did you just say? Hoping that this person actually comes through and doesn't just end up being a conversation and not leading anywhere like everyone else. And an opportunity is essentially like an opportunity to get slingshotted ahead, right? Because you're jumping on their bandwagon and getting money immediately for their thing, versus the long game, which is I need to come up with a good analogy for this. But the long game, which is you building your thing. So the difference is that the quick opportunities that can slingshot you ahead, those are maybes. They might never come. And when they do come, they might leave as quick as they came. But your thing is guaranteed.
Yeah.
The thing that you build, the thing that you have 100% or 90% control of, that thing's never going to leave. And that's why I think it's super important for, even if people like take my course and, get like free coaching or whatever, and they have an opportunity or whatever, like, I think people should, no matter what, they should know what the thing is, best case scenario that they would love to do that they fully control.
Yeah.
And like, you've even said, I don't think we've even really defined what that is for you. You said one of the things you would love is to be, employed by a big influencer being their video person. It's like, dope, but that's still you working under someone. And I'm not saying that that's not a great end result.
No.
For some people, like maybe you would love to do that. And I don't think that that's a bad thing, but is there some sort of thing that you would want to do too? And it doesn't have to like cause you to stray from your actions. It's just kind of knowing if there is one of those things. And at the same time, I like want to bite my tongue, because I'm like, next thing you know, now you're fragmenting your thoughts.
Yeah.
Now you're like, well, I could be doing this, but I could be doing that, and I should be thinking of this, and I should be thinking of that. What should I focus on? Now your bandwidth
I understand what you're saying, and I think I want to be able to make a greater impact on a larger scale on not just one jiu-jitsu school, but I can't make an impact on 10 jiu-jitsu schools if I'm always the one physically involved in being the guy that works with the teacher or the influencer. But if I were to think of it more in the scale, and I don't know if this is necessarily what you mean by like what I want, but if I were to think of it more in scale as not myself, but my company is the one that people turn to do what I did for you, or to do what I'm doing for Werther, or what I'm doing with Michael, that would be more in alignment with the vision of personally getting more of a hit of, I have people turning to my company to do this very thing.
Right. Now you're not working for a person, and if they decide they don't need you anymore, then you're fucked.
Yeah.
But instead, you just lose a client, and you have this business that has a great reputation and has, a team or whatever. Yeah, that's dope. And you can also get the job from the guy in the process of getting to that place, because that's further along.
Yeah.
But as long as what you deeply want to do when you wake up in the morning is to do the actions that are required to make that happen, right?
Yeah.
Including getting the clients, including getting up for the shoots if you want to be a part of the shoots, or managing the people. And that's the thing, dude. That's why I'm such a big fan of reverse engineering, is because I've been asking myself constantly. That's why I keep saying this term, like chipping away the sculpture or cracking the code of what it really means to live a successful life or dream life or whatever. It's like, okay, not what career do I want, but when I wake up in the morning, what actions would I take? Okay, I wake up, I meditate, I exercise, I do my morning routine, my writing, I eat my breakfast. What do I do? For me, it's like I want pretty much my whole day automated. I want someone to cook my breakfast for me. I want to, have a personal assistant. I want to have a videographer following me around wherever I go. I want to be constantly busy with things that I love doing. I want to be collaborating with the masters, the thought leaders. I want to be talking to them. I want to be helping people. I want to be creating systems. I want to be creating music and films and content. But there's also other stuff that I want to do too. Like I want to have fun, and I want to act a fool, and I want to be stupid, and I want to have my time with my friends, and be around cute girls or my whatever. It's like be around my lady, and it's like just like there's all kind of stuff that I want to do, and it's like, how can I start with that? And then say, okay, these are the things I love doing. I wake up in the morning. What can I create that coalesces all of those bubbles into one thing? Or else you do what I did, and you're like, I want to be in the music industry. I want to be famous. And then 10 years go by, and you're like, okay, I was homeless. I got sexually assaulted. I had a guy pull a gun on me, sawed-off shotgun. And now what really came from that? I better make a film series about it, or else it's going to be pointless, right? Yeah. it's like that's what I'm really excited about, like helping guide people through. It's going to be fun when I can have some bigger events and workshop this with people and have people actually like bust out notepads and plan their life and just like that's what I want to do, man. It's going to be so fun to just like fly people out to a really dope place and just workshop your life.
Yeah.
It's just going to be fun. And not just like, I don't want to do that, like, get you all stoked up and then you leave. And I also don't want to do the watch me speak on stage for a few days and you don't do shit. Like, it's like, no, I want to be like, I'm going to stand up here for 10, 15 minutes. Then I'm going to tell you to do something. And then I'm going to chill on stage while you guys do it. And if anyone has questions, raise your hand and we'll chat while everybody else is focused. And then we'll go again and we'll keep doing that. And then when the whole thing is done, you have this super robust plan that you leave with, you go take action, and then you hit us up on text or on the community and you get real support from real people. Your peers, people who are ahead of you, you help people who are behind you, holler at me if you need me. And like that sounds like a supportive community that I want to build and give people an opportunity to like really figure out what they love and really make it happen so that they can have those crazy like goosebumps and like moments where they just don't feel like life is surreal, like that I've had like through, job I got and which is happening now. It's like, that's what I want.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.